Hello, Sydney.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. It's so good to see you.
Great to see you too. Great to see you too.
How did Ansanm come to be? Did he did he have this written before we sang it, before you set it to music, or did you all collaborate together for that event?
We actually collaborated together for that event when Classical Movements contacted me and mentioned that there's going to be a mass choir from many different countries to
Yeah.
premiere this piece at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. It was such a great honor, you can imagine. And I thought how it would be a great way to represent my native country, Haiti. And so I contacted my father. We spoke about it, and he turns to the Bible very often for inspiration. He actually like was in seminary for a long time. He's a
Oh,
deep
really?
thinker, and yeah, he almost became a priest
Oh.
actually. And I'm glad he didn't because I wouldn't be here if he did. We collaborated together on this composition, and we go back a lot of back and forth. It's like the
Okay.
process is such an important aspect, and he wrote those words of Ansanm in Haitian Creole.
Mm-hmm.
And so in many ways, I was representing in Haiti with this mass choir. There are times I go back to it and I'm like, oh wow, I found words in my music that I didn't even realize that were there. So my music teaches me, and
Right.
like you mentioned, the troubadour earlier from my piece, Mama Africa. It's like, wow,
Yes.
that's perfect word for it.
Right,
Yes,
right. I think
yes,
there's a inner voice that tells us
absolutely,
this is what you need to do, and
absolutely.
it comes out. So was your dad pleased with the way the song turned out?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the idea of watching all of these people come together, and perform the work, and the fact that many choirs since then have been programming the piece, and spreading that message, into the world. I think that's my job, and his job too is to spread that
Yeah.
message. Yes,
Tell me a little
yes.
bit more about the role that you see yourself playing, not just now, but going into the future. You're so young. You have
Hmm.
a whole lifetime ahead of you. Where do you see yourself and your music going, and in what direction, and what would be one of your long-term goals that you will achieve, not just musically, but
Hmm.
extra musically as well? See, one thing that I noticed about Ensemble is that unlike a lot of songs where we celebrate war and victory in war, this
Hmm.
song celebrates the peacemakers. We don't do
Yes.
enough of that.
My goal every day is to be in harmony with, like with life. Like, so that even before choral music, writing choral music, I wanted to do film music. That was my goal. And it's like I was actually avoiding writing music for the voice. And
Right.
so like trying to be in harmony with what life wants me to do is actually, what God wants me to do is actually what my goal is. And it's thanks to conductors like you, that my music gets put out there into the world. My goal is to just do the work to write these works, and conductors like you end up lifting them off the page and spreading the message out there. I was reading the signature of your email, and
Uh-huh.
I thought it was so perfect. I had never actually read that quote before. It says, "Do all the good you can by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the
As
times you
long as you
can,
can.
as long as you can." Yes, it's like
It's
these are words for
it's a
me to live
quote
by.
by
Yes,
John Wesley, who was
yes,
the
absolutely,
founder of the Methodist movement, and I come
absolutely.
from a Methodist family.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
It's yes.
they
Yes.
are wonderful words. We can't
Yes.
always live by them, but we can at least strive.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm doing. Trying my best every day, to to live by those sentiments.
Right.
Yes.
Um, Sydney, when you were asked by Nita, Classical
Hmm.
Movements, to write this piece, um, obviously you knew what they were going to celebrate. We were going
Hmm.
to pay homage to President Kennedy. How
Yes,
did
yes.
that impact you? Because I remember when we were putting our repertoire together, we were
Hmm.
trying to find songs that resonated with his themes, with his
Yes.
ideals.
Uh-huh.
And did she give you some indication about where she wants the music, where the direction should be, or did you have the the flexibility to do it the way you wanted it to go? And how did you feel about this momentous occasion? Because it was a momentous occasion.
Absolutely, it definitely wasn't, and it was overwhelming, of course. Like that's my first feeling. It's like, oh boy, like how am I gonna make this happen? You know, and I had some communication with Nita, and she mentioned some positive words like honoring the people that came before us, you know, and also messages of justice and of peace and of love. So I, of course, I turned to my father, who's so great at that, and we kept going back and forth on and trying to make it better and better, and Ansanm came to life. Yeah,
Right.
so it's a community that creates this work.
Of
It's
course.
not just me. Yeah, yeah,
Of course. Yeah. And then, of course, the song took a life of its own.
absolutely. I call them my babies. You know, at the end of each of my pieces, I put the date where I was when I finished them, and they are born and go into the world, and just
How
they
long
do
did
their
it
own thing.
take you? How long did the actual music writing take after you got the
Music
poem in
writing.
your hands?
I would have to go look at my calendar to know exactly, but it's usually about it takes me about two months, you know, and most of it happens at the end, like as the get deadline to turn in the work,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
gets closer. At the beginning part of it, it's like it marinates in my head, like how approach I should take, etc. You know, and actually the approach you mentioned about the baseline first, and you know, and coming and everybody coming together. I'm like, I never thought of that, but it's like it was important. I think one thing I did think about is to have a drum, you know, like a conga in there because of the fact that the drum is such an important instrument
Correct.
in my native country of Haiti.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That added so much. And also, I think it sort of goes across all of your compositions. There's this a very rhythmic sense to your pieces. There's a vitality. And
Yes.
you use drums a lot in your pieces. If I had to write a term paper about you, I
Hmm.
would talk about how everything is grounded in strong rhythms and how you use the drums and other percussion instruments. And that seems to be your hallmark. Am I right?
Whew. You just like touch a spot here, like because I've been going back, like I said, especially these past few days, like going back and looking at my body of work, you know, and since my very first piece, I talk about the drum, you know, and it says like my piece Kalinda, which again, I was not thinking I was going to write choral music, and it was an assignment for my composition class. And I turned to my father. I said, "Okay, I have to write 16 bars. That's what my teacher wants me to do." And he gave me that line, "Kalinda, Jean ka Kalinda, c'est gramesi kutambu," which means dance and celebrate as much as you can, but it's all thanks to the sound of the drum, you know?
Mm,
So that's the very first piece that I set to music. And that piece, the central theme of that piece is that it's all thanks to our creator, you know, like all the talents that we have, it's all thanks to our creator. So that message of the drum has been such like a meaningful part of my music. And for you to say that right now, it's just discovered that just recently, even having conversation with my father about it, and just yesterday actually, you know, it's like wow, you know, like the last piece that I just finished, the first line is our drum has lost its beat. There's displacement under our feet. And the last line actually, it's our drum has found its beat. You know,
mm.
we found a home again, and the piece is called Finding a Home. Yes, I was 11 years old when I
When
when I
you
left
arrive.
Haiti.
Yeah.
Yes, and I studied lessons when I was 6 years old. I studied with piano lessons in Haiti, and I continued when I moved to the States. I didn't speak English or or anything, but I learned. English and continued music. And that's actually one of the first things my parents did when is buy a piano for us when we moved to me and my older brothers when we moved to the States. And I've continued music lessons, and I went to middle school, high school, and college, and I am now.
So music has been your life.
Absolutely.
And your life has been music.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you in the middle of composing anything else? I know you just finished one. What is in the near future for you?
It's a piece for a choir in Canada, and it's the sentiment of the piece is life is beautiful.
Even though you write for many different combinations of musicians and instruments, you seem to be focusing on choral music. Is that by choice, or is it just the way it happened to be? What is it that makes you focus more on choral music than on instrumental music?
Well, I've been grateful since my first choral pieces. I would Colinda and another piece, Pour toi mère, and since then, everything that I've composed has been a commission work, you know. And I'm so grateful to the choir world for continuing this, and so that's why there's been so many like choral works in my catalog, you know. But I've also done some instrumental works. I miss that world sometimes like this. That's why I was so excited when I wrote my first symphony, and I don't have as many instrumental pieces because of the fact that it's just been so many commissions for choir, which I'm great, like I said, so grateful. But it's not exactly intentional, but that's the path. Like, you know, how I said, being in harmony with, you know, with life, and
yeah, that's wonderful, because I think you have a very unique way of writing, and it speaks to the heart, not just the music but the text. You really do have something very special that you offer, not to the musical community alone, but to the world. And I just hope that will be your trajectory going forward, that you will present and you will give more of your talent and your message to the world, because we need it. We need that message from whoever can give it to you. And I think you are in a wonderful place right now where you are doing that already.
Thank you, and that's, like I said, that's my hope, to be able to continue to do that. And I'm like, the words like I mentioned of do all the best you can. Those are the words I'm gonna try to live by. I had never heard of that quote, but it's such a beautiful quote. You know, so thank you.
Take care and have a nice evening. Bye bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.